Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today on O Face Wrestling. This is your host JT and then your co-host Stephanie.
What's up?
Thanks for joining us today, Stephanie. It's been about what was it, almost 2 months since you've been on the show, since we did
I
the
think so.
Shayna Baszler and who we thought was gonna dethrone her, and we both were right with picking Rhea Ripley. So
Oh man, I
yeah.
know.
But yeah, so today we are going to do our predictions for NXT Takeover Portland that will be coming up on Sunday. So we're going to go and do the order that we see on Wikipedia. So the first match, and I need you to help me out with this because I can't pronounce his name, but Keith Lee will be defending the North American Championship against Dominic, and what's his last name?
Dominic Dijakovic.
Dajakovic. Yeah, I cannot. I am horrible at pronouncing foreign names. I just cannot do it. So glad you're here to help me out with that. So, honestly, this doesn't really seem to be too much of an interesting match. I mean, I love Keith Lee, but I'm not too familiar with this Dominic guy, so I kind of feel like it's very obvious, in my opinion, that Keith Lee's going to retain. I mean, how do you feel about this match?
I don't know because it's like NXT, and I just kept saying this last night. NXT is just on a different level. Like they're on a different wavelength, and they're all about surprises. I like the fact that it doesn't seem too predictable because these two have had like a little rivalry going on, and they've had quite a few matches on NXT. I don't remember who won the most of them, but I think they may be a little even right now. But the matches that they've had each time, they just one up them every single time. So, I mean, obviously, I'm pulling for Keith Lee here because, I mean, this guy is just, I mean, no words. He's great. I'm glad that they finally pushed him to the forefront and then they put the title on him and they capitalized on the steam that he has right now. Like, please capitalize on this momentum. I mean, I hope he retains, but no, we're not even going to go there. Keith Lee is retaining.
I just cannot imagine him losing, especially so soon. But it's like going back to what you're saying, like that WWE, the main roster needs to take some notes here. Like you said, what he caught fire and they're capitalizing on it. That's what they need to do with their superstars on Raw and SmackDown. But like I remember when WWE signed Keith Lee, like I wasn't familiar with him at all, honestly.
Me either.
I did hear a lot of hype about him, and then I thought it was just weird. They didn't really do too much with him for a while. He was
Yeah.
like he kind of reminded me of like Aleister Black, where they would put him on TV against like random people, and he would win. So it's like they liked him, but they didn't know what to do with him. And it's like now they're
Yeah.
finally figuring it out with him. Like he came in, I feel like he really gained that momentum at Survivor Series, and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
advantage of it. Like I knew he was going to come in the Royal Rumble and have an impact, and he broke the cycle of Brock Lesnar just eliminating everyone. And now he's the North American champion, and I think that's the right way to go. I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about how about him being in the NXT championship picture, but I think this is the right way to go, especially with NXT not really necessarily being as developmental anymore since it's like own brand and it's on USA. I feel like you can really slowly build him up, use the North American championship as like your IC title, build him up in the mid card in NXT, and then move him up and eventually have him, challenge for the NXT championship. Like I think they're doing the right thing with him. They're not necessarily, oh, this guy caught fire, let's shoot him to the moon right away. Build him up because he could still, he can really help make that North American title, or continue to make it a pretty established title. Because I don't want to say like help make it established because it already has been,
Right.
but it still keeps it credible and interesting. And I like that. I like that their mid card title feels important versus WWE's, United States and IC title that's booked very inconsistently a lot. Like they've been doing a really good job with this title, and I really like what Keith Lee's been doing.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I hadn't heard of Keith Lee before the takeover when they showed him in the crowd. I'm like, okay, well, obviously this guy is really important. And it's just crazy. The first match that I looked at of his, just to kind of get an idea of what he could do, it was an intergender match versus Mia Yim. And
Oh,
it was probably one of the best intergender matches I had ever seen. I mean, it was great. So I'm just like, wow, that's kind of ironic. Like, I look at this match and then they're like dating. So I'm like, oh, but then, oh, wow.
yeah,
But yeah,
I gotta check out that match.
it was such a great match. But it's like, I'm kind of, see, that's the thing. Like, when they sign people and then they have that infamous crowd picture, I don't know a lot about a lot of the people, like when they show them, but I'll get familiar with them, you know. That doesn't really bother me that they're not on TV immediately because it's a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cycle. They already got stuff going on. I would have hated for them to just kind of, okay, well, he's here. Let's just go ahead and put him on TV, especially if they're trying to do something with somebody else and then he's just going out there and like losing. Like when NXT had, I think it was like a New Year's Day show or something, and Austin Theory had a match. And I'm like, oh, wow, I've been waiting on this. The guy's amazing, but he lost, and we don't see him anymore. But I don't think that's a bad thing. Now that they have Keith Lee in the forefront, I mean, he's great. I mean, he's a big guy that moves like a cruiserweight, and he just has so much personality and character. And he's different. He's already established the fact that he's different from, oh yeah, he can wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely hope that he retains and that Dijakovic just he can stay mad. That's that on that.
Yeah, exactly. Like Keith Lee definitely stands out from everyone, and that's good. Like that's what the fans want. We don't necessarily want your prototypical like big macho man kind of people. Like we want these different looks and different styles, and Keith Lee offers it. And like you said, he's gonna retain, and I just can't see it going any other way, to be honest.
I mean, if they did do something different, I could see. Hopefully not. I don't want to speak it into existence. If there was some sort of like DQ and then somebody comes in, but I'd hate for it to end on an indecisive type thing. But it is what it is. I'll accept it for what it is if that does happen. But the matches between those two, I don't think it's going to disappoint at all. I'm literally every match that's going to be on Takeover Portland, with
It
this being one of them. So
rarely does a takeover match disappoint in general, so I'm expecting this to be a good one.
yeah. So we both agree Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, yes.
Okay.
Now, next match, and I honestly think that this could be the best match on the card,
Uh-huh.
is Dakota Kai versus Tegan Knox in a street fight. Now, I think that this could be the best match on the card because, first of all, it's a street fight. It should be fun. I don't think we've seen a women's street fight match in WWE, at least in a very long time. So,
um, I might have to research that because I'm wondering
it,
if I don't know. I don't remember because it's been so many big things that have happened. I can't think
yeah,
of it off the top of my head if it did.
but it's definitely something that, if anything, hasn't happened very often. But I mentioned this, like, back when Dakota turned on Tegan, that this feud can be very similar to the Gargano and Ciampa feud that we saw like 2 years ago, and like best friends now mortal enemies, and they both are tremendous wrestlers.
Yeah.
I can only assume they're going to have a lot of chemistry and just kill it. This should be a really, really fun match. And honestly, this feud has really put Tegan Knox on the map because, like, I've always liked her, but I've always looked at her as like Dakota Kai's like kind of like shadow in a way, like because I'm a big Dakota Kai fan and all that, and
Yeah.
Tegan Knox, like I know her as the girl who tore her ACL for the second time at the Mae Young Classic, so I remember being like really happy seeing her come back now, but this has really brought some life to Tegan, like, and I'm actually kind of liking Tegan more than Dakota, to be honest with you now. I'm so behind Tegan, and I think that this could just be just an incredible match. Like, this is bad blood, and I love a feud that's bad blood versus just, oh, I hate you, you're an idiot. Like they want to like destroy each other. And
Yeah.
it's hard to predict who's gonna win because I feel like they're gonna do a trilogy with this. I cannot
Mhm.
imagine just being a one and done kind of feud. So I mean, they could really go either way, but I'm gonna have to go with Dakota. I think
Well,
the
yeah.
heel win and then the face win the next two, or definitely the next one. But I'm gonna go with Dakota for this match.
Yeah, like every time, like listen, hands down, there was never any doubt I was going to go with Dakota because since she turned heel, it's been a little odd as far as like the matches that they've had her in. The matches haven't been bad, but I'm like, she's talking a big. Why do they have her losing all the time? This is not okay. This is not good. Why is she losing all the time? I don't dislike her any less. I still love the girl, but I think this here this match, I think she's going to win. There was never any doubt. I was never pulling for Tegan. I like her, but no, she can sit this one out after the match is over. And like when you watch NXT from last night, I'm not going to give it away, but it was like at one point I'm like, well, dang, it's like she's supposed to come off like this, like really great heel. Why do they have her looking like this? But I don't try to get too deep with it because I just want to enjoy it for what it is. But I mean, I like heel characters, so I want the bad guy to win.
Exactly.
I can just see Tegan in a role of God, this is so cliche, but like scrappy underdog. And they're not even fighting for a title. I'd rather see her like I don't know, like chasing like I'd rather see her in a chase and like see her be disappointed in a loss because that's gonna make people like feel for her more. You know what I'm saying? So nah, she can go. I'm gonna pull for Dakota here.
Yeah, I definitely think it's the best choice for Dakota to win because, like you said, like she had like the heel turn was great. Like it generated a lot of buzz on social media, and it was. I don't want to say it was unexpected because we all kind of slowly was seeing Dakota get frustrated. So, but it was
Yeah.
still such an epic moment, and
They've
like
just had her look really like kind of they've just had her booked really weird because I'm like, you're a heel. Why are you losing all the time? It seemed like. And she
exactly,
probably hadn't even lost that many times, but that's what it feels like
yeah.
to me. So
It's weird for me because just like you, I prefer the heels, but it's like I kind of prefer Dakota as a face. Like it's just not.
mm-mm,
I'm just not feeling it. Kind of like Io Shirai too. Like I love her, but I prefer the heel. The face version of it, just because I feel like they have like that adorable kind of face, kind of
mm-mm,
like they both have
mm-mm,
really cute smiles and all that, and I love their little entrances. And it's just weird, like some people just don't really fit the mold. Not that they're not like I think Io is doing a tremendous job as a heel,
mm-hmm.
and I still just prefer her with her little mask and all. But like Dakota, I just miss like because I've been following her for years before she came to WWE. Honestly, like I used to chat with her when she used to stream on Twitch, and I used to always be in her stream chat, and then like I know her as the little sweet innocent person. It's just not clicking with me just because I've followed her for so many years, and she's always been a face. I don't recall her ever being a heel on the independent circuit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like her heel is not clicking, and I think that's maybe why I'm kind of favoring Tegan, just because I'm just not clicking with the character. But at the end of the
That's
day,
understandable.
but I do love Dakota Kai. Like I like I said, like I still know her as Evie versus the Dakota thing. Like, and I mean, yeah, like, but bottom line is like I just feel like Dakota's gonna win, but I think that Tegan will win the feud overall.
Yeah, it's just I want Dakota to win this match, but then I want her to keep winning. Like I will advocate for a heel all
Hmm.
day long. So they really can't do any wrong, even though that's the whole point of their character. I don't
Exactly.
care. I don't care.
All right, so moving on to the next match, we got Adam Cole defending the NXT Championship against Tommaso Ciampa. Who do you got for this match?
Now, this is an instance like how you were explaining how you feel. Oh, well, I'd prefer Dakota as a face. This is an instance where I'd prefer, or I'd like to see Ciampa as a heel. Him as a face. I knew when he had the surgery on his neck And then they released those videos on YouTube, like talking about like his family and the trouble that they experienced with like having a child, and then they finally had a child and all that stuff. It was like a bunch of feel good moments. I'm like, oh yeah, they've released these videos. He's gonna come back as a face. You can't come back as a heel after crying and doing all of this stuff. It was just too good of a feel good moment.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. I'm trying to get used to him being a face, but he was just such a jackass as a heel. I uh, I don't know, but
That,
I'm pulling for Adam Cole here because it
yeah,
just wouldn't. I just they've already, the Undisputed Era has already lost one title. They just need to lose that one.
it's like if NXT wasn't on the USA Network, I would probably say Tommaso Ciampa would win, just because I would feel like, okay, well, it's time for the Undisputed Era to come to Maine. But now that it's like they're really establishing NXT as like a legit brand on TV, I
Mm.
feel like Adam Cole still needs to be champion. I look at him as the face of NXT, and if anyone's gonna dethrone him, it's gonna be Finn Balor. And
You
that
think so?
I think so. I
Yeah.
feel like it's gonna be someone big. I mean, I could see Finn Balor beating Adam Cole, and then maybe Keith Lee being the one to dethrone him.
Yeah.
I feel like Keith Lee's gonna be the North American champion for a minute. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. I wouldn't be surprised if Ciampa won this though. Like it wouldn't blow my mind by any means. I just feel like there's still mileage with Adam Cole as the NXT champion. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see him. I don't see him losing. I don't see Adam Cole losing this one. I can kind of see it, just optimistically thinking maybe like, okay, Ciampa really wants to get Goldie back, and then he loses this match, right?
Mhm.
And then he's like, he just kind of goes insane because he didn't get Goldie back, and then he turns heel again. But then that's just me being selfish.
Honestly, I can see, and I know you posted something on Twitter about not really wanting DIY to come back, but I can see them teaming up together and maybe becoming the NXT Tag Team Champions again.
Oh
You
yeah, they were the tag champs. You're right.
They were I think they lost. Didn't they drop it to the Revival or Authors of Pain?
Oh, did they lose it from the Revival?
It was either the
No, no,
Revival
no. They not lose it from the Revival. That didn't even make sense. The Revival dropped the titles to them, didn't they?
or it might have been that. That was
Okay.
that was like 3 years ago or something like that now, or 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
So but I could see that happening instead. So I have to go with Adam Cole with this match at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question. I know the match is going to be a banger because I can't really think of a bad Adam Cole match that I've seen since he's been in NXT. Because I remember hearing his name before he got to NXT, but then I didn't really see anything because I don't want to overload myself on a bunch of wrestling. And
Mhm.
that's no shade to anything else that's out there, but I didn't want to. It's a lot of wrestling out there. I'm just going to stick to this one product.
He would be
But I can see him winning, no question, and Ciampa's just gonna have to wait. So
exactly. But yeah, like going back to what you're saying, like it is crazy how much wrestling there actually is out there. Like outside of WWE, you got AEW, Impact, WoW, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then you even got all this. There's like wrestling shows on Twitch that I never knew existed until recently too. It's just like it's
yeah,
insane, and it's next to impossible to keep up with.
yeah. I know. I do kind of want to start like. I think I want to try to binge NWA because I follow like a lot of the people or a couple of people from NWA on Twitter, and I look at some of the videos they post. I'm like, this looks amazing, and I do want to check it out.
I've been meaning to do that too because there's a few wrestlers that I follow too that have been wrestling over there. I mean, I know like Melina, Thunder Rosa,
Sienna, do you follow Sienna?
Sienna, yes. Yes, I definitely want to check it out. And the fact that it's on YouTube makes it pretty convenient. Honestly, I can just pull my phone up
Yeah.
in a minute and watch it. So I'm definitely I might do that before I watch NXT tonight.
I know I definitely want to catch up on AEW too because People are still talking about that episode from last night, and I know I'm like several episodes
I would not.
behind, but I want to try to keep up with what's happening and get familiar with the characters.
See, with like
But
AEW, I know a lot of the characters. I'm more so just like keep up with on like social media. Like I'll just see what people are saying. Like, okay, that happened, you know. But I
yeah,
don't have the time and day to even try to watch that.
yeah, because I really want to look at that women's match. I've seen like videos and clips from it, and I'm like, okay, I have to make it a point to watch this.
Yeah, I might watch like check the clip out on YouTube or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what I usually do. Like if I see something big happen with AEW, I'll watch their YouTube just to get a little taste of it.
Gotcha. Yep. So we agree, Adam Cole.
Yeah, we've agreed on every match so far. Keith,
Mm-hmm.
Dakota Kai, Adam Cole. Now for the next match is the Undisputed Era defending their titles against the Broserweights. Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. Who do you got for this match?
This is actually a tough one because I can see it. I'd be happy either way. It's just I say that because since Pete Dunne since Pete Dunne and Riddle have been paired together, it's like when you look at NXT from last night, they were doing like these skits, and I'm just like, wow, I think this is so awesome. Pete is showing like so much character, and he seems so unbothered, which is the great part because Riddle is going to riddle. But just the skits that they were in together, I'm like, this is like a buddy cop movie, and I love it. It was just great to me. So I can see this going either way. I really don't care who wins, but if I have, well, obviously, with us doing this, I mean, I'm actually pulling for Dunn and Riddle.
See, with me, I'm pulling with the UE just because I've always been behind them since day one. I can see them winning just 'cause I did mention a few minutes ago about like I see Gargano and Ciampa actually being the ones to dethrone them. But the weird thing with Dunn is it seems like they don't really also really know what to do with him outside of NXT UK because they put him in a random tag team a few years ago with Roderick Strong, and that's when Roderick turned on him.
Oh, that was great.
It seems like they put him with random wrestlers just to do it. Um, I wouldn't be 100% surprised though if they won because they're not the O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are not going to hold those titles forever. And
Mm-hmm.
one issue with NXT right now is they don't really have that many tag teams established outside of the Undisputed Era, which is why they're putting together random teams like this. But
Yeah.
they
I
don't.
mean, and sometimes when they do that, it just seems like it works.
Yeah,
Like these two, it works.
it
It
does
just
work.
their chemistry together, they bounce this energy off of one another and it just fits. It just fits so well.
I think for the sake of the tag team division, I think they should keep them together because realistically, they don't need them as singles wrestlers. I mean, their roster is pretty solid as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and especially with Killer Cross, he's going to be coming to NXT. At least, was he officially announced to go to NXT, or is he?
Yeah. They announced it on backstage. Yeah, they announced it on backstage one night. It
Yeah, I
was
think he
Killer
announced
Cross
it, and I just didn't know.
and forgive me, it was another guy, but I forgot his name, so my apologies.
I don't know the other guy. I didn't hear about that, but yeah, I feel like they don't really need them in the singles divisions. I think it is best for the tag team division. Maybe they should win. Honestly, just it is hard to bet against the Undisputed Era because they usually have a trick up their sleeves every match.
I don't know.
So
I
this
don't know.
is the first match that we disagreed on, so we weren't.
Yeah, I'm definitely pulling for Riddle and Dunn with this one.
Well, I'm gonna pull for the UE then because I love my boys, I love my faction, so
Definitely hope you're wrong though. I'm just playing.
we'll find
Not
out
really.
on Sunday. Second to last match now. This should be a really good one too. Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano.
Finn Balor.
Who did I say?
I don't know, but I said Finn Balor.
Finn Balor. Okay, I thought. Yeah, I got Finn Balor. I can see him potentially being the next challenger for Adam Cole. So obviously, if that's the case, him winning would make sense. This is another that's the one thing about NXT. Like their takeovers are kind of hard to predict because they could really go either way. I can see Gargano winning this.
Exactly.
It's really hard for me because I like them both pretty equally. It's not like I like one significantly more than the other because I've been a big Finn Balor fan since he came to NXT back in 2014, and Gargano it took him a few months for me to really become a fan of him. I think that feud with Andrade really got me,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that's when he really got his first real spotlight, in NXT. And it's something I love his theme song too. Like Christy and I listen to it in the car a lot. So I, I'm gonna go with the opposite pick of you this time again, and I'm gonna go with Johnny Gargano. I think that
Bye. Clock
even
out.
even though that I said that Finn Balor, could win just because he could be the next challenger. I don't know. My gut is just saying Finn Balor. Johnny
Yeah.
Gargano. I don't know. I feel like he hasn't had a big win in a minute, and I feel like he needs it. Like Finn Balor is Finn Balor. Like he could lose and still be fine. I can see also, like you mentioned earlier, maybe like a DQ or something like that, and they could turn it into like a triple threat match for the championship.
I'm wondering. I mean, I would just, yeah, Finn Balor. It's just no question. Just because it's like Finn Balor was in NXT, then he went to the main roster. That I don't even really know what to call that. And then he left for a little bit, came back to NXT, turned heel. It's almost a a career resurgence, and he just has this momentum behind him. I would just hate for him to lose this match because he just had this really great match at Worlds Collide. I mean, this match was great. So I'd hate for him to lose against Gargano. Not trying to discredit Gargano, but like I said, I will advocate for a heel until the day that I die. So yeah, I would just prefer Finn Balor at this point, just because I mean he's really got something going. It'd be great if they let him continue to be because is he undefeated right now?
I don't know, to be honest. I really wasn't paying too much attention. I don't think so. If anything, he hasn't lost any big matches, but I don't think he's lost at all since coming back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm wondering if since he's come back to NXT, if he's undefeated. If he is, I'd like for them to keep it that way. If he's not, whatever, my fault. Now I'm gonna have to look this up after we finish this, but yeah, I'll advocate for a heel to the day I die. So Finn Balor, I want him to take this one.
I'm gonna go with Gargano. Like I said, and
Mm,
it could be a DQ or double count out because I mentioned triple threat. What about Fatal Four Way? What if Ciampa, Adam Cole, Gargano, and Finn Balor? That would be a fun match
yeah.
next takeover. But I'm kind of leaning towards the actual a no contest or something like that. But for the sake of picking someone, I'll just say Gargano.
Yeah, and just to go back to what you said, it's nice that it's so unpredictable. Wrestling is real cool without spoilers and seeing who wins before it even happens or stuff like that. It's just so unpredictable and it could go either way. Even if Gargano did win, I'd actually still be okay with it because he's proven himself. His matches, I don't think I've seen a bad Gargano match since he's been in NXT. I had been watching him, I think, when he was in the Cruiserweight Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'd be cool either way.
Yeah, me.
But
I like them both. Like you said,
yeah,
Gargano, he's kind of like Sasha Banks. Like he can go with anyone and brings out the best in everyone. Like his match, like he's had so many 5-star matches. It's insane. Like he
yeah,
he's so good. He can tell a story. He can sell. He can do everything that you need a wrestler to do in that ring. And regardless, I don't even really care who wins. Honestly, it's just I just want to see him have a good match and be entertained. That's all I want.
exactly. I definitely agree with that.
Now the last match, and I think we both will probably be on the same side on this one. We got Rhea Ripley defending the NXT Women's Championship against the EST of NXT, Bianca Belair. Please tell me that you got Bianca.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Bianca Belair, no question. But my thing with her is like, even with Rhea Ripley being the champion right now, even if Bianca Belair did lose this match, right? To me, like in my eyes, she's still winning. Because like from what I see, like when I see things and like read through tweets and stuff like that, okay, you had Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca in the same ring in one night. Rhea is the only one in that ring with a title. Who are people still talking about?
Bianca.
Bianca Belair. So it's like, even if Bianca doesn't win the title, she's still winning regardless, because that is who people are talking about. Like, she was able to outshadow Charlotte Flair twice in the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
She was an unsung hero. And then with that skit or whatever, or not skit, but segment on NXT, people are talking about Bianca Belair. Like, Rhea Ripley's the champ. Okay, great, cool. Not to discredit her, because I really like her a lot as well. But people are talking about Bianca Belair. So even if she doesn't win the title, she's still winning at everything else, because that's whose name is in everybody's mouth. So, I mean, if she does win, I mean, that'll be amazing.
That would be amazing. And a lot of people don't think it's going to happen because Rhea just won the title. And I know that's because that's the one thing, like, you don't see that on the main roster anymore. Like, usually before in the past, like, if someone won a title, they would hold it for at least a couple title defenses.
I mean, unless it was Sasha, then yeah,
So
they
it's
would have her win the title and then take it off of her at the next title defense. That's really who they would only do that with. And I meant what I said. But if Rhea did lose the title, I mean, that would be like a shocker. Like, wow, she just won it. But it's not like WWE hasn't done it before. They've done
yeah,
it with Sasha.
I've just never seen them do it in NXT. So I'm wondering, like, could they switch things up? And I said this too during our video about Shayna Baszler. We both predicted Rhea Ripley to the beater. But remember when I said that I felt like she was going to be a transitional champion? She was going to win that title just so another heel can win it for her, and I had brought up Bianca Belair. Now, so far, everything has been as I was expecting. Rhea Ripley won. Now Bianca, who I said was going to be the one to dethrone Rhea, now she's all of a sudden challenging her at Takeover. So I really feel like that they could actually be putting this on Bianca, because I mean they have invested a lot in Rhea Ripley. Don't get me wrong. I mean she was her team during War Games, was the winning team. She and at Team NXT during the women's match at Survivor Series won,
And she pinned Charlotte Flair on
and
SmackDown.
in Charlotte Flair on SmackDown. Like, she's got so much freaking momentum right now, but I'm kind of feeling like that maybe she could be headed towards, Raw or something like that. This could be just something to kind of build her up, because she is young. She's 22 or 23 or something like that. So they could, kind of transition her into Raw or SmackDown. I don't know. I mean, the women's division in NXT is stacked like a mother effer. So they could afford to lose her too, but part of me feels like that Charlotte Flair is going to show up on Sunday.
Yes,
And do
yes. Because I'm wondering if it's going to eventually be a triple threat at Mania.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping that Bianca's the one who walks in with the title versus Rhea, but I'm definitely expecting regardless of what happens, whether Charlotte Flair shows up or not, whether Rhea retains, Bianca wins, there's gonna be a triple threat at Mania. They've already planted the seeds. There's just no way that they're not gonna do it. It's just a matter of who's going to be walking in as champion. That's the thing. And honestly, if Bianca lost, I would be a little upset, obviously, but I wouldn't be mad if she wins it during the triple threat match at Mania. That would be a bigger
A
spotlight.
bigger stage, exactly. And I mean, your first main card event is at WrestleMania. Like, that's That's a big deal. And you're in the ring with Charlotte Flair. I mean, that holds weight. And
That
again, people are still talking about Bianca.
it,
Rhea's the champ. Okay, thumbs up. Good for her. Kudos, kid. But Bianca is who they are talking about
everyone's been talking about
still.
Bianca for a minute now, and like you mentioned earlier about WWE capitalizing on someone who's catching fire. They need to do that with Bianca. Like she has had so much momentum, and people have been raving about her for over a year now, and she has not won that title. And maybe it's just bad timing. I don't know, but like they really need to capitalize on this. Like imagine her as champion, like how just amazing that would be. Like her coming out doing her little twirl and all with that title.
And then it's like, if you think about it, like another thing, even if she doesn't win, yeah, it'll be a little bit disappointing. But then I feel like, once the move comes where she does go up to the main roster, it may not necessarily be like a bad thing. Like, oh man, she never had a chance to be the NXT Women's Champion. Look at Becky. I mean, Becky was never the champion in NXT. Alexa Bliss was never the champion at NXT, and look at how far they've come. Look at their trajectory years later. So not being the NXT Women's Champion, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. Do I want her to be champion? Of course. But if she doesn't, I mean, she's big now. She could be even bigger on the main roster because she's just different from the other women. She
She is.
stands out,
She's,
which doesn't really happen too often.
yeah, she's the total package. Like she has everything. She has the look. She has an amazing gimmick. She has an awesome entrance. She can wrestle. She can go strong. She can even do the high flying stuff, the spots too. She can do absolutely everything, and she is, she could be the face of any division, whether it's the NXT Women's or Raw,
Yep.
SmackDown. She could do it all. Personally, I do want to see her win the NXT Championship. Like I've, mentioned before, how I would love to see her go to Maine and dethrone Becky. But like, and you mentioned, Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch and all, but Alexa and Becky, when they were in NXT, they didn't have this kind of hype. The people weren't
No,
talking.
they didn't. I mean, Becky had the hype of she was one of the four horsewomen. And I remember Becky had like a great match. Like, I think she got a standing ovation, actually. She had like a really good match against Sasha Banks. I mean,
But she
wow.
always looked at as the lesser of the four, and Alexa,
Yeah.
they didn't really do anything with her in NXT other than be, Blake and Murphy's, valet.
Ballet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, but like Bianca, she's making a lot more noise than they made, and at the same time, the NXT Women's Championship wasn't as established at the time too. So I feel like it means more for Bianca to win it. And with NXT like being, an actual like on live TV on USA, I feel like Bianca should be the one to help carry that brand. Like I want like I'm a big fan of NXT. Obviously, I want to see NXT thrive, and I want to see them, just go out there and stick it to AEW and all that. So it's like I feel like you need people like Bianca because the women's division on Raw and SmackDown could use a little help. I feel like it's kind of gotten watered down a little bit because I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, who's Becky have the challenge right now? I mean, I know Shayna Baszler's looks like she's going to be a challenger, but Shayna's like,
What do you mean? Of course she is. She bit her neck. I can't get over
you know
that.
what?
I've been showing people that don't watch wrestling, and they're like, "Is this what you're looking at on Mondays?" Yes, yes, it is.
I still need to see that clip. I don't know why. I heard that
I
movie censored,
died
but
because it was like when she came up and her mouth was covered in quote blood end quote. It's like Gangrel started trending. I said I hate the internet, and then they started saying Shane Grell, like Shayna plus Gangrel. I'm like, this is just too good. But you're right. It's like, as far as like, who does Becky have the challenge aside from Asuka? I'm personally over Becky and Charlotte because I'm just over it. Do I really need to give a reason? Bianca would be perfect. Like, I'd love to see them in a match together and see them go head to head because, like, Becky is very confident in her promos, and I appreciate that. She talks a big game, but Bianca is like super confident and can back it up. Becky, I just feel like I don't dislike her. I do not dislike her, but I feel like her promos are great. But then it's like
They're the same.
there are several women, like wrestling wise, that are better than you, and they have everybody losing to her. Like, really, Sasha? You serious,
Yeah,
Sasha?
that's where I had to draw the line. Like, I was a huge Becky fan, and I was a big supporter of her winning the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania. Like, I wanted her to be the one, to walk out of WrestleMania with both of the titles and all that. But it's just like, with now that she has the spotlight on her, you're kind of seeing some of her flaws. And
I mean, and you know what? And kudos to them, because I can never do what any of them do. But she's gotten, I guess, her title reign to me has just gotten a little, well, it's gotten stale, because who does she really have for competition?
I think that's the biggest issue, was because right when she won the title, they threw Lacey Evans at her, and I'm sorry, but no one wanted to see that, and she wasn't even
I
established.
did. Miss Mania did.
I know she did, of course, but like, just in general, like, it was very random. It was a unestablished wrestler going head to head with the biggest star in the company, and then the Natalia feud was just. I didn't mind it, but not for SummerSlam. I mean, I love Natty, but she's just not like. She just doesn't feel like a big star, like, for SummerSlam. Like, it's Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. We want
But
someone.
you know what? But it's Natty may not be my favorite. Like, I don't want to, no, because I don't want to say that. Nothing mean, but people give Natalia a lot of flack, but and it's like when they hear her music, they're like, oh man, it's almost like letting the air out of the room. But then it's almost guaranteed when Natalia comes out, she's gonna give you a good match. Like, she can wrestle her ass off. So I'd actually like to see Bianca and Natalia. That wouldn't be, I don't think that would be bad, but it's like, and I'd like to see Bianca and Becky, but, and I mean, I know this is definitely not up to me, but only if they planned on Bianca going over, then yeah, I want to see it.
Well,
If
yeah,
they don't, mm-mm.
she definitely would, because, like, the thing is, Natty has a role in WWE. I love it. She's the veteran. She's a locker room leader. She puts over other wrestlers. She's not selfish. Like, there's been plenty of veteran wrestlers in the past who, just did not want to give up the fame, and they still wanted to be on top. And, like, even like Hulk Hogan, like, a big reason why I hate him is because in 2006, he did not put over Randy Orton. That you have this young upcoming star who's gonna be a big thing, and this 50-year-old guy, heaven forbid, if he puts over the next big thing. Like,
Yeah.
He's not like that. She wants to just go out there and wrestle. She wants to help develop better women in the division, and I like that. And of course, if her and Bianca have a match, she's gonna put her over. There's no question about that.
Yeah. I mean, I like Natty. It's just, it, I like her. It's just when she comes out, 9 times out of 10, the match is going to be pretty good, because it's like on the job training. I respect her. I like her. I dig her. But
I
I
respect.
think that match at SummerSlam with her and Becky, I was like, okay, I'm with that, because Natty can make anybody look like $1,000,000, just like Sasha.
Oh yeah, definitely Sasha.
So,
But yeah, that's where I kind of drew the line when Sasha, when Becky went over Sasha. That's when I was like, okay, like, this is kind of getting old now, because that was a good feud, and it's like, okay, can things are going to go downhill from now, because is there going to be anything to top this? Is there going to even be a challenger? And then you saw, like, they didn't really have Becky challenge anyone, or anyone challenge Becky until
they had her pairing up with Charlotte
she
for
was
that.
tag team title picture,
That
and
was odd.
they had the tag team champion challenging her for her title after that. So it's really weird. I'm glad that now Shayna's on Raw. biting her neck and all that. So I'm glad they're doing.
You gotta see it. You gotta see it because I'm like, oh, they're really doing this. Raw was like a variety show on Monday, and I loved it. Raw was so good. I'm like, because when Shayna's music came on, I'm like, oh my god, my body is ready. I've been waiting on this because I like Shayna as much as people like the she can't know. No, I like her. I didn't get bored with her title reign, not one time, because she's a beast. She just is. She looks intimidating. Becky, okay, girl, bye. Like I don't dislike her, but I'm like I'm just over it. If and when the time comes when Bianca comes to Raw, I'd like to see them, have a thing, but only if Bianca was going over.
Exactly. Definitely get
That's it, really.
future. It's just a matter of fact of when is.
Yeah, I like to see Bianca and Charlotte 1-on-1. Like
Yeah.
it's just so many dream matches because I did listen to the Lillian Garcia podcast when she posted it a few days ago because I think Bianca had been on there before because I remember listening to it
But
before.
I
But
listened.
then she added like stuff about Black History Month and like what's been going on and an update like her experience with finding out what her role was going to be in the Royal Rumble. And I'm just like, this girl is just like so relatable. And every time I look at her, I'm just like, man, if I had her, I mean, she's just so confident. She exudes it. Like her whole aura is just magnetic.
And
It
I
just
love
is.
how dedicated to the business she is. Like she
And she hasn't even been doing it that long. And
exactly.
kudos to Mark Henry for even finding her.
Yeah, because that's the thing is I even posted a tweet about it, recently. Like just because you don't go through the independent circuit doesn't mean you can't be good. Sometimes you just have it and you like, which is something you can't train. But she was so dedicated to the business and really put so much effort into it, and her
Yeah.
character and just her in ring skills. And now she's one of the top stars in the company. And God, I mean, WWE needs to put this title on her soon too, because the other thing too is she is like 30, 31 years old, which is kind of up there for a female wrestler in WWE. I
You
don't know.
think so? Because they got women up there that are like 38.
Well, yeah, they got some, but just in general, like you know how it is. Like
Yeah, I know.
she's married. We don't know what her and her husband's plans are if they're gonna have kids. And also, to me, it's like capitalize on her now because you do not know what's gonna happen in the future. And I mean, maybe she'll wrestle for a good 10 years, or maybe she'll wrestle for another year and start a family. Like you never know with the women in wrestling, and obviously you have to respect that. You can't wrestle pregnant, obviously, and
Oh
people,
God.
like I said, 30,
I
she hit
know what you're
30 years.
saying.
You don't want to, realistically, if you want to have a family, you don't want to wait to your mid 30s and all that kind of stuff too. So I mean,
You
everyone,
just, I mean, it basic. I get what you're saying. You just never know. And I feel like what they're doing right now, they started with the Royal Rumble. She took that. She ate that segment on NXT. She ate that.
mm,
And then it's like I knew she was going to be special because I remember like seeing her in the Mae Young Classic. And I think it was like a clip, what had to have been a clip on YouTube. And she had lost to Kyrie Sane. And it was Bianca and Triple H backstage, and he was like consoling her because she was crying. I didn't take it like she was crying because she lost. I took it like she was crying because it was like a bunch of emotion, like maybe just culminated. And I'm just like, oh my God, I feel so bad for her. And I'm like, okay, this is a character, but then it's like I can relate because I'm like, wow, like I can't even imagine what that feels like.
mm.
Because even in a loss, she still looked like a star. And then she comes out on NXT, and I'm just like, oh, she's a bad bitch. It's like she can be on both sides of the spectrum. And I'm just like, this girl got it. Like from early on, I was like, she got it. Like I cannot wait to see where this goes. So if she wins the title on Sunday, that'll be great. If she doesn't win, technically she's still winning because people are probably going to be talking about her
Oh hell yeah.
still.
But if she
So
wins, you know darn well, like Twitter is going to blow up in a good way. She's going to be number one trending, and it's gonna be, well deserved, moment. Just like I said, this part of me, just my gut feeling is saying Charlotte is going to show up and
Yeah,
just.
something I feel like something is gonna happen, but then I don't know, man. It's just so unpredictable, and that's the part that I love. You
Mm,
don't want to go into it like, oh, well, we already know who's going to win that. You know what? Sometimes I don't even care,
yeah,
but it's just cool with it being so predictable. And I'd be cool if it went either way because both women are going to still come out looking great. So,
I definitely agree. And like I said earlier, like I just want to see a good match. It's
mhm.
kind of what NXT is all about. Is just having these 5-star matches and all. If like a lot of people do like Reyes, so I mean, if Bianca loses, people will still be satisfied, and there's still the possibility of, like I mentioned, her winning at WrestleMania. So if she loses, that hope up.
Yeah, because it's like when you posted the picture of her shirt, I'm like, let me see who I can send this to.
Hmm.
Because I got a birthday coming. I'm like, let me see who I can send this to. Hey, we're cool, right? Do you feel like buying me this shirt?
Yeah, they got that sale too. Buy one get one for $1.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, my shopping cart is full, man. What y'all trying to do? But that's just me being selfish.
Yeah,
But yeah, hands down, Bianca.
Bianca
So
as well. Oof. Well, that covers all 5 of our matches. We agreed on pretty much every match other than 2.
yeah,
So we'll just have to see come, Sunday on who wins and who loses out of these matches. But at the end of the day, none of them, other than I feel like the Keith Lee match, none of them are really predictable, and that's good. That makes it fun. I like because when you go into a match, pretty much knowing who's going to win, it kind of takes a little bit of the excitement out.
yeah.
So not knowing who's gonna win really like adds that extra, little like that spice to the match because like you don't know and anything could happen. So it'll be a fun card at the end of the day.
Oh, I definitely agree.
Well, Stephanie, just gotta thank you for joining us today on O Face Wrestling for our prediction series for
No problem.
definitely fun. I know we will. I know we're planning on doing an actual are we recording next week for the Bianca Belair showcase episode?
Sure. That'll give me a chance to like really do my research and
Yep. And
yeah.
it's funny we talked so much about Bianca too, and now we're gonna do an episode. But yeah, we're gonna be doing that showcase episode on her to really go in detail and talk about her more in depth and all, which definitely should be fun. It's a showcase episode that I've been wanting to do for a while now, and I couldn't think of any bigger fan than you when it comes to Bianca Belair. So definitely it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I agree. I cannot wait to do it.
All right, well, thank you everyone for tuning into this episode. It was definitely a fun one, and like I said, definitely thank you again, Stephanie. It's always fun chatting it up with you about wrestling.
Oh, thank you for having me, of course.
No problem. And you want to let everyone know about your Twitter?
Oh, yes. If you'd like to follow me, I do not take wrestling seriously like that. I don't argue. I'm not fighting with anybody. I'll mute you first. My my Twitter is at your petty bestie.
Yep, make sure you all follow her. And like she says, she does not get into arguments or these heated debates, so she will mute you first. And make sure you follow us at O Face Wrestling on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And thank you all again for tuning in. Have a good one.
All right, see ya.